Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. We'll do the Shanti mantra of Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, the same Shanti mantra. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranashchakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakaro Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te Mai Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we started Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter last week, and with every class we will start with a Shanti mantra. Om Apyayantu Mamangani, praying that all of our limbs, all of our sense organs are in stable condition, and that may we never deny Brahman, and may we never be denied by Brahman, meaning by Ishvara. I explained this already last week. And though all the dharmas, all the values that are there in the Upanishads, may they ever shine in me. And this chapter is on Tattvamasi. And we saw very interestingly last time that this is presented through an akhyayika, means a story of Śvetaketu, the son, and his father Uddālaka. And Śvetaketu was a young boy of about 12 years old, and he was still hanging around at home. So his father, Uddālaka Ṛṣi, said, Śvetaketu, now go to Gurukula. Go to Gurukula, learn something, grow, because we are from the family of thinkers, learners. Our entire family is learned, but you are not learned yet. So please go to Gurukula. And so he went to Gurukula, and he spent 12 years there and learned so many fields of knowledge. So astrology, astronomy, physics, chemistry, literature, music, arts, weaponry, all kinds of things. How to chant, the proper meter, all things he learned, or so he thought. And when he came back home, his stance was very high, very arrogant. Mahamanaha, anuchanamani, stabdha, very arrogant. And he didn't even bow down or prostrate to his father. And so just by the way that he came home, his father said, he did not learn. My son did not learn because look at how he's standing. Look at how he's speaking. He's so full of pride. And so his father said, Śvetaketu, did you learn that teaching? And he said, what teaching? So now that's where we are. So he says, Śvetaketu, did you learn that teaching? And now he says, what is it? So we are in mantra 3. Yena ashrutam shrutam bhavati. Yena ashrutam shrutam bhavati. Amatam matam. Avijñātam vijñātam iti. avijñātam vijñātamiti katham nu bhagavaha katham nu bhagavaha sa adesho bhavatiti sa adesho bhavatiti. So he says, did you learn this? Yena ashrutam shrutam. Yena, that by which ashrutam, that which is unheard, becomes heard. Yena ashrutam shrutam. Bhavati, it becomes that. Amatam matam, that which is unthought of becomes thought of. Amatam matam. Avijñātam vijñātam, that which is unknown becomes known. Iti means that's the quote. So up to there, Uddālaka Ṛṣi is asking, did you learn this? By which the unheard becomes heard, the unthought of becomes thought of, the unknown becomes known. And Śvetaketu says, Katham nu bhagavaha sa adeshaha bhavati, means what is this teaching? What is the nature of this teaching? So he's very curious to know. So now Uddālaka Ṛṣi brings a very beautiful question, saying that, is there something by which, knowing which, all of the unknown becomes known? That's the import of the question. Is there something which, knowing this thing, all of the unknown becomes known? And so Śvetaketu's thinking, because it's not like by knowing physics, I'll know chemistry and I'll know mathematics and literature. Or it's not like if I study literature, I'll know chemistry and mathematics and physics. So what is that? So here, very beautifully, in the bhashya, in the commentary, why his father was asking this, why did his father ask this question, says, Sarvanapi Vedan Aditya, Sarvam cha anyad Vedyam Adigamya api akritartha eva bhavati. Meaning that even if one has really studied everything in the world, every field in the world, even if they study that, if they do not know the self, they will be ever akritartha, unfulfilled. Yavat atma tattvam na janati, until we don't know who we are, we will be unfulfilled. So he was trying to say, by knowing this thing, everything will be known. The depth of that question is, by knowing the cause, all of the effects will be known, and we will tackle that in the next mantra. But first, let's focus on this point. See, in life, many people spend so much time studying many things, right? One degree after another degree after another degree, and it never ends. And after studying up to a certain point, again, we have to study new technology, right? Because now the whole field of medicine has changed. The whole field of computers have changed. So we keep studying and studying and studying, and there's no end to it. It's endless because there's things that we have to learn every day. That's why many people, they don't like to upgrade. They don't like to upgrade. If you tell an elderly person they have to get a new phone, they're ever so sad because again, they have to learn how to deal with the phone, how to open the phone, how to put their contacts in. It's a constant learning curve. And even if we keep learning and learning all of the fields, we excel in so many fields, will we be fulfilled? The idea is that we won't be. We won't be fulfilled until we know who we are. So we can spend our entire life researching something. We can spend our entire life experimenting on something. But if we do not experiment on who we are, we will not be fulfilled. And now there's so much specialization, right? So we know more and more of less and less. right? That's what's happening. We're knowing more and more, but a very, very less. So life is really funny in that everything that we're trying to know, or why we are trying to know everything in other fields, is also because we want to boost our ego. We're curious. We want to know. We want to learn. We want to understand it. But the self is that which will break our ego. So until and unless we pursue this knowledge of the self, we will be unfulfilled. And that's why this knowledge is called Raja Vidya. Raja Vidya, it's the royal knowledge. It's Para Vidya, it's supreme knowledge. Because this is the knowledge that will set us free. And this is what Uddālaka Ṛṣi wanted to teach Śvetaketu. That did you learn this knowledge? Because if you didn't, then all other knowledge is absolutely useless. All other knowledge cannot set us free. And so now he says that by knowing which, the unknown becomes known. So now he gives 3 examples to illustrate this. What does that statement exactly mean? So let us go now to the next mantra, mantra number 4. Yatha somya, ekena mritpindena, sarvam mrinmayam vignatam syat, sarvam mrinmayam vignatam syat, vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam, vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam, mrittiketyeva satyam, mrittiketyeva satyam. So he says, yatha, just as somya. Now he calls Śvetaketu somya. Somya means somebody who is cooling like the moon, who's pleasant. So he calls him somya because he wants to lift him up. Just like ekena mritpindena means by knowing one mritpindena, lump of clay, sarvam mrinmayam vignatam syat, everything that is made of clay, sarvam mrinmayam, everything made of clay is known. Vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam, all else is just namesake. Vācārambhaṇam literally means that it is just based on speech. That all vikara here means products or effects. All products or effects are just based on speech. Nāmadheyam, they are only namesake. Mrittika iti eva satyam, clay alone is the reality. So this in Vedanta, there's the famous example of the pot and clay. Where does that come from? It comes from Chandogya Upanishad. This is the source of that example. So let's think about this clearly. Just as when clay is known, all products of clay are known. So let us say the pot is known, the pitcher is known, the cup is known. So everything that is made of clay is known. Why? Because in essence, the cup, the pot, the pitcher, they are nothing but clay, right? So you have clay pot, clay pitcher, clay cup, they are nothing but clay. They may have a new form. So they may have a form of a pot. That's fine. They may even have a new name. They may have a new name called pot. And they may have a new usage. So with a pot, you can actually fill water. So there's a new name. There's a new form. There's a new usage of this, right? But what is it? It's the old substance. It's the same substance. It's the same clay. So pitcher may be new pitcher, new name, new form, New usage, it's used to pour water. That's fine, but it is still clay. So no matter how many names and forms we give to everything made of clay, it's still clay. In its essential, in its essence, in its essential substance, it is only clay. Why? Because if A cannot exist without B, then A is B. So pot cannot exist without clay. Therefore, pot is clay. Pot is clay. The pitcher cannot exist without clay. Therefore, the pitcher is clay itself. It is, in fact, clay alone. So clay is the cause. The cause plus name, form, usage becomes the effect. So cause plus name, form, and usage is the effect. But in essence, they are all clay. And this name, form, and usage, or what we call vyavahara, they are called vācārambhaṇam. They are only based on speech. Because why? We created these names. We created the name pot, pitcher, all of that. We created that. We made those forms. And we tried different usages with it. So this pot, this pitcher, this cup, it is just based on speech. It is just namesake only because there's no substance there. That name, form, and usage without the substance is not substantial. It doesn't hold anything. There's nothing there. So we say that it is vācārambhaṇam, nāmadheyam. And the only reality, therefore, is that clay, and that clay alone. Mrittika eva satyam. That clay alone is the reality. So now, take this and think about the world. Just think about the world. Clay is the cause for this pitcher, for the cup, for the pot. But if we look at the world, what is the cause? What is that which is the substratum or the cause, that thread which is the essence of this entire world? Can we say that it's movement? Can we say that it's life? We can't say it's life because there are some things that are called non-living beings, right? So if we look at this world and if we say humans are the threat, humans are the threat. But what about animals? So we say, okay, humans, animals, beings, so life is the threat. Life is the essence of this world. Okay, but what about stones? What about this wood? What about this book? What about non-living entities? So then, when we look at non-living entities and we look at living entities, and we try to see what is the common thread between this, because this is what the world is made of, the common thread is existence. The non-living entity exists, the living entity exists. We always say, this is, this book is, this computer is, this carpet is. So everything exists. And so the underlying substratum or the cause for the entire world is existence, or cause. So what is all of this that we're seeing? All of this that we're seeing is name, form, and usage. These are all names. All of us are different names. We're seeing different forms in this world, and there's different usages. There's different things that we can do with different materials. So we are seeing names, we are seeing forms, we are seeing usage. Now, if we remove existence from all of this, what happens? It's not there, right? So from that one existence, so many new names have come. So many new names, and people are renaming things all the time. Renaming, naming, all kinds of things. So many new names have come. So many new forms are there. And so many different usages, transactional usages are there. But if you remove existence from all of this, what happens? The world is not there anymore. It doesn't hold water. So the essence of the world is Brahman, is Sat. Sat means existence. Is Brahman, is Sat, is existence. All of this is just an appearance on existence, because without existence, they cannot exist. So the world, it doesn't have a reality of its own. Just like the pitcher and the cup and the pot, they don't have a reality of their own. They depend on clay. In fact, they come from clay, they stay in clay, and in clay they go into. The same way, this world arises from Sat, stays in Sat, dissolves in Sat. Sat, or existence. So it's not a whole, there's no separate world from existence. It's not a new world. It is just Brahman and Brahman. Just like the pot is clay alone, the pitcher is clay alone, the world is Brahman alone. So in the same way, everything is just Sat. Everything is existence. So when we now match this with the last mantra, by which the unknown becomes known. When we know the substratum of everything, then everything is known. When we know clay, then we know pot, pitcher, and cup. It's all clay. When we know Brahman, we know the world, because the world is Brahman. So if one spends their life, let's say, in this endless questioning, like what we saw earlier, and many people do that in three levels, Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. Jiva, the individual; Jagat, the world; Ishvara, God. Many will spend entire lives, if not inquiring about things outside, about Jiva, about this individual. Why do I have this body? Why did I get this karma? Why is my relationship with this person like that? Why am I going through hard times right now? Why is life like this, treating me like this? If we keep asking these questions, we will be on an endless goose chase. But if we come to the substratum as, who is this jiva? Who is this individuality? And when we come to that, then everything becomes known. Everything is just that Brahman. The same with the world. People will ask, why is the world like this? Couldn't God have created a better world? This world is like right now terrible, so much is going on. And why does the world keep going through these changes? Why is there so much war? Why is there so much suffering? Again, all of the questions are going outside. And the more of these questions go outside, it is going to be an endless pursuit. Because who can explain the nature of Maya itself? It's inexplicable. We cannot explain it. But the minute we go towards what is the substratum of the world, it's Brahman. And by knowing that, everything is Brahman. Then if we go into Ishvara, that I am praying to God, but why is God not answering my prayer? I went and I did this pilgrimage and I tried to build this relationship with God, but nothing's happening. Go to the essence of who Bhagavan is. Bhagavan is Brahman. So the idea is, when we know the essence of something, everything else becomes known, because everything else is nothing but that thing. That Jiva is nothing but Brahman. The world is nothing but Brahman. God is nothing but Brahman. So by knowing Brahman, by knowing Sat, by knowing existence, everything is known. So in this chapter, Brahman is equated to Sat, is equated to existence. So these three terms I'll use interchangeably. Now he goes to give two other examples. But before that, there's one point I wanted to share about this clay and pot example. In one of Gurudev's quotes, he talks about the seeker's journey, and he says, how far is the pot from clay? What does the pot have to do to know that it's clay? What does it have to do? Does it have to do all kinds of japa? Does it have to do all kinds of karma? Does it have to do all kinds of contemplation, meditation? Or does the pot have to say, I am clay, I am clay, I am clay? No, right? The pot just has to realize, I'm clay. What is this? The pot just has to look inside, I am clay. Huh? That much is realization. How the pot has to realize it's clay, that's how we have to realize we are Brahman, because we are already that. So all this other sadhana or spiritual techniques is to give us that much purity to realize that that's all that we need to do. Right? So all of this japa, this contemplation, this upasana, all of this is to make us realize that all we need to do is actually realize. That's a very beautiful example by Gurudev. Okay, now we go to the next mantra, the fourth mantra. Fifth rather. Yatha somya, ekena lohamanina, sarvam lohamayam vijñātam syāt, sarvam lohamayam vijñātam syāt, vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam, vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam, lohamityeva satyam, lohamityeva satyam. The second very popular example in Vedanta is gold. So one is the clay and the pot. The next is gold and gold ornaments. Yatha somya. Just like Somya is Śvetaketu, ekena lohamanina, by one lump of gold, sarvam lohamayam vijñātam syāt, all gold products are known. Vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam. These products, these vikaras, are vācārambhaṇam. They are just based on speech. Nāmadheyam, they are namesake only. Loham, that gold, iti eva satyam. That gold alone is reality, is true. So same concept, same like we take with the clay. So you take gold. You take gold and then you have a bracelet, you have a necklace, you have a ring. And if you see all the bracelets, the necklaces, and the rings, they are nothing but gold. Gold is that cause, and gold, that cause plus name, form, usage. The cause plus that brings us the effect. So gold plus a certain name and form and usage will bring us a bracelet, something that I wear over here. Gold plus name and form and usage will bring, over here will be a necklace, right? And we feel like, but this is so real. And I'm wearing a necklace now. That bracelet here, this is so real. It is so real, yes. If you think on its own, it's real, but can you show the bracelet without gold? Can you show the necklace without gold? So the essence of the bracelet, the essence of the necklace, essence of the ring is nothing but gold. Bracelet, necklace, ring are just names and forms. They are just vācārambhaṇam. They're just based on speech. Because in their essential nature, they are gold. And gold alone is reality. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what does this have to do with me? Huh? So now in the last mantra, I brought in the analogy of the world. Huh? Now I'm going to bring the analogy of the individual or the individuality. We have three personalities, predominant: waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, right? Now, there is that one underlying reality, and that one underlying reality is Turiya. Turiya, existence, Brahman, Sat. This existence is constantly there. It's constantly there throughout all the three states. My waking state, I may be Shubhani, I may be a brahmachari, I may be sitting here in front of you. This is my name, this is my form. Right now, this is teaching, this is my vyavahara, this is my transaction. But in dream state, I may be completely somebody else, right? I don't have any notion of this body, nor do I have a notion of my name and what I do. I might be somebody else in some other world, in some other place, speaking some other language. Who knows? Completely different. So that is my dreamer personality. Another name, another form, a different transaction. And then in deep sleep, what happens? All of this is not there. My name and my form and my usage, they're in unmanifest state, right? And the waker is not in the dreamer, right? This waker is not in the dreamer. The dreamer is not in the deep sleeper. And the deep sleeper is not here, thank God. Otherwise, I would be sleeping. So all of these things, what are they? Again, name, form, usage. Because if I remove existence from this collapses. We saw this also when we studied Panchadashi chapter 2. We saw so many of these examples where if you remove existence, the whole thing just shatters. It just collapses. So who is Shubhani? What is my real nature? My real nature is existence. That is the reality. This is just vācārambhaṇam. It is just based on speech. It's just based on speech. It cannot be me, because if it was really me, then it would always be me. But it is not. Vikāro, nāmadheyam. Now, someone might say, but this is a little bit hard to take. It is a little bit hard to take, but it is very true if we really think about it. And what are the implications of this? Let us say we understand that this is just an appearance. This is just there. The reality is much, much deeper. Then we will see things in life very lightly. See, the best thing in life is to have a light heart. To have a light heart. Because so many things happen in life. In our meditation and life class, we were talking about how constantly we're experiencing the world. Constantly. Every day, people are coming, things are coming our way, events are happening, our emails are piling up, to-do list is piling up, people are messaging, and it feels like this whole barrage of things just coming our way all the time. Is it ever going to stop? No. we're in samsara, right? Constant samsara. We're constantly moving. So it's not going to stop. But the idea is to understand that this is not life. It might be our dharma to fulfill certain things, but so what if some things succeed? So what if some things fail? Of course, we will do our best. We will put forth our best effort. So what if things didn't work out? So what? Because all of this Remember, this is just a field. It's a playing field for us to purify so we can go deeply within and sit still. It's a playing field. So whenever we feel like this is getting too heavy, this is getting too much, it's too much of a load on my shoulders, remember, vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam. If I can't understand that this is an appearance, okay, see it as a playing field. And we just have to do what we do, but the essential thing in life is to realize who we are. And until we do that, we will never be fulfilled. And when we do that, we will always be fulfilled, no matter what happens. Okay, now one more example to drive home this point. So Uddālaka Ṛṣi is a great teacher because this whole Chandogya Upanishad chapter 6 is full of examples, because he knows that this is the way to get to his son Śvetaketu. So let's see here, mantra number 6. Yatha somya ekena nakhanikrintanena sarvam karshnaya samvijñātam syāt vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam krishnāya samityeva eva somya sa ādesho bhavatiti. So he says, now this is the third example. So first one was clay. Second, gold. Third is, just as Somya, by nakhani krintanena, one nail cutter or lump of iron. Sarvam karshnaya samvijñātam syāt means all things made of iron are known. Vācārambhaṇam vikāro nāmadheyam. Vikara. All these products are vācārambhaṇam. They are based on speech. They are just nāmadheyam, namesake. Karshnayasam ityeva satyam. That iron alone is reality. Eva somya. And this way, Somya, this is the answer to your question. Sa ādesho bhavati iti. So, the answer to the question is what? First, what is the question? What is the answer? From what is that by which the unheard becomes heard, the unthought of becomes thought of, the unknown becomes known. What is that? So in essence, the question is, what is that which, by knowing which, everything becomes known? All the unknown becomes known. What is the answer? The answer is, by knowing the cause, all the effects become known. Just as by knowing clay, all the pot, pitcher, cup becomes known. Just by knowing gold, all the bracelet, the ring, the necklace becomes known. Just by knowing iron, then all the things that are made of iron becomes known. So too, in that way, all the unknown becomes known. By knowing that Brahman, that Sat, who we are, all of the unknown becomes known. Now, Śvetaketu answers his father. He says, now we are in mantra 7. Navai nunam bhagavantaha te etat avedishuhu yadyetat avedishan katham mena avaksyan iti. Bhagavanstvueva me, Bhagavanstvueva me, tadbravitu iti, tadbravitu iti, tatha somyeti hovacha, tatha somyeti hovacha. So then, Śvetaketu told his father, Nave Nunam, definitely, O Father Bhagavan, they didn't teach me this. Te etad avedishuhu. They didn't teach me this because they might not have known this. Huh? Te etad avedishuhu. They probably didn't know all of this. Yadhi avedishan. If they knew, katham mena avakshan. How come they didn't tell me? This is what Śvetaketu said. So they didn't teach me because they didn't know about it. They didn't know this reality, so they didn't teach me. And he says, Bhagavan means to his father, O father, tueva me means you teach me. Tad bravitu iti, you teach me. And his father said, okay, Soumya, I will teach you. So here, the arrogance of Śvetaketu is still there. Huh? And very often we find that if somebody tells us something, the first thing we do is we blame other people. If someone finds something wrong with us or somebody says we did something wrong, the first thing we do is tell people, oh, but they didn't do this right. That's why I did it this way. We feel the need to justify. We feel the need to explain, and we feel the need to put on the blame on other people also. Very few are the ones who say, yes, I really didn't know, and I should have known, or I should have asked. The idea in Gurukula is that the teachers don't give this knowledge very easily. They don't give this knowledge very easily. Only to the ones who have purified and asked, then they will give. I had told you before that a wise person doesn't just give advice like that, doesn't just talk like that also. Because words are precious. And Vedanta misunderstood is worse than Vedanta not understood. So Vedanta misunderstood, it's worse. Because if the student is not able to grasp it or take it, who knows what they're going to do with this teaching. So the wise people, they keep quiet, they live at ease and at peace. And if somebody is really sincere and ready to learn, then they teach. So in the same way, Śvetaketu was there in Gurukula, but probably because of the lack of qualification, because he didn't ask, then he didn't get the teaching. So now his father said, I will tell you, I will play the role of the teacher, and I will tell you exactly what this teaching is. So we will read, we will just touch upon, now we're moving to the second chapter, we will just touch upon this, and then we will see more of this next week, okay? So now section 2, Dvitiya Khandaha. Sadeva Somya idam agra asid, Sadeva Somya idam agra asid, Ekameva Dvitiyam, Ekameva Dvitiyam, Tadhaikaha, Tadhaika, Ahuhu, Ahuhu, Asadevedamagra asid, Asadevedamagra asid, Ekameva Dvitiyam, Ekameva Dvitiyam, Tasmadasata sajjayata, Tasmadasata sajjayata. So now he's telling Śvetaketu that just like the clay, just like the gold, just like the iron, in the beginning, so agra asid. So if you remember Panchadashi chapter 2, this was the main statement that we took up. And I'll bring some of those things also back here so that we can remember. So idam agra asid, this entire world before was Sat alone, Sat eva. Sat eva, idam, this world, Sadeva Somya, idam, this world, agra asid. So, sorry, Sat eva, this Sat, this truth, was this world alone. Ekam eva advitiyam. One alone without a second. And then it says, but some people, tadha eka, means some people, what do they say? Ahuhu, that in the beginning, agre, this was asat, this was non-existence. This was non-existence. And from that non-existence, everything arose. So he says, in the beginning, this was existence alone, one without a second. Some say that in the beginning, this was non-existence alone, one only without a second. From that non-existence arose whatever exists. So first, let's touch upon existence, and then we will go to non-existence. So when we talk about Sat, what is exactly Sat? See, this Brahman has three predominant lakshanas. We call them indicators. Sat, Chit, and Ananda. They're not defining reality, because to define reality, we would defile reality, right? To define God is to defile God. This is what Gurudev says. So this is just an indicator to tell us who we really are. Sat, existence, Chit, consciousness, Ananda, bliss. When we use the indicator Sat, what are we trying to do? We're trying to come to the essence that this truth is something that is, number one, changeless. Because truth, even in our lives, how do we know when someone is truthful? When they speak the truth, right? When they speak the truth, not when they're, sometimes they're like this way, sometimes they're like that way, they're going here and there, you never know what to expect. That person, we say, is very difficult to deal with. But we know someone's truthful when what they see, what they think, what they hear, what they say, what they do, all of this is in one line. It's in one line. So they're very much consistent. A truthful person is consistent. A truthful person is straight up. Not so much changing, not switching, not confused, not doubting. A truthful person's pretty straight, changeless. So also, when we say Sat in the Vedantic way, what we mean is trying to get to the essence, which is changeless. So what is it in us that's absolutely changeless? Just think. For those of you who are part of the Atman series, this was one of the points we covered, right? We feel, no matter how much Vedanta we've studied, we feel that we are this body. And this Dehatma Bhava doesn't go very easily. Dehatma Bhava, this identification towards the body, doesn't go easily. It keeps coming back to us. But we know for a fact that this is just a tool, it's just an instrument, because it keeps changing. And believe me, it's changing moment to moment. Today, our body feels extremely well and fine, but tomorrow, who knows what's going to happen to the body? Today, we feel very, very cold, but tomorrow we might feel warm. Today, we might have a cold and cough, but tomorrow we might feel very healthy. So just the understanding that this is just, it keeps changing, not even day by day, but moment to moment. Every moment our cells are changing. So this obviously is not Sat. It's not Sat. And then we come to our thoughts. Again, our thoughts, sometimes they're racing. They are just racing with so many things to do, so many places to go, just so incredibly fast. But there are moments where our thoughts are slow, steady. There are times where our thoughts are so positive and we feel so like, yes, we can do this, we can do this. There are times we feel like, oh my God, I just want to give up. Huh? So our thoughts also, they keep changing their nature. So that also is not Sat. Right? So again, Why we're using this term Sat? Because we want to come to the changeless. So all that's changing, knock it out. Knock out that body, knock out that thought, this ego, this personality. This also keeps changing. How I was 2 years ago is very different from how I am now, and maybe how I will be in the future. Hopefully, I will be better, right? It keeps changing. It keeps changing. So this is also not Sat. So take everything that's not Sat, take it out, take it out, take it out, take it out. And when we come to that changeless being, who we are, that is Sat. That is Sat. And the idea is we are already that. Remember, we are already that. So we don't have to try to be that. We don't have to try to be changeless. Okay? All we have to do is and we don't even have to get rid of this. Nobody's saying get rid of the body. Nobody's saying get rid of the mind or get rid of the ego. What we're saying is free ourselves from the identification of this body, this mind, this intellect, this ego. Just free ourselves from that identification. That much is required. So when we're saying Sat, we're saying come to changeless reality in you. Okay? Next, when we're saying Sat, we mean come to the changeless substratum of the world. So it's not enough to know that the changeless reality in me is Sat. What we need to know also is that this whole world is appearing in me as Sat. I am that substratum of the whole world. So it's not that I have my own changeless existence and you have your own changeless existence. No, it's one unbroken, changeless existence. And in that unbroken, changeless existence, all beings, all people, all circumstances, all of it appears in that unbroken existence. That's called Sat. So it's not just this individual, it is the changeless reality, it is a substratum. That's point number 2. Point number 3. Because it is changeless, the changeless reality within in the substratum of the world, then it is asangaha. It is unattached. It cannot go up and down. It cannot actually change up and down. So what this means is nothing can actually affect us. Nothing can actually affect it. Because we cannot change. Huh? So yes, some things can affect our body. Definitely, we eat a certain type of food and it may make our body feel very nice and peaceful. Another type of food and we have a tummy ache. Definitely our bodies can be affected. Definitely the mind can be affected. We know this. It can go up and down in a moment. Definitely the ego can be crushed like Śvetaketus. But this existence, it cannot change. It cannot go up and down. It cannot become stronger or weaker. It cannot be older or younger. Not that you have an older one and I have a younger one. It cannot change. And because it cannot change, it cannot be affected. So every time I feel that I am being affected, things are harming me or hurting me, or things are making me feel joyful, actually, I am that being which cannot be touched. Asanga. So this is point number 3. Point number 4. This existence that we're going to talk about throughout Chandogya Upanishad is none other than consciousness. So don't think that existence is something separate. No, this existence is also consciousness. Existence is to show that it's changeless. It's absolutely changeless. But that same existence when brought to another light or seen from another perspective, is consciousness alone. So whenever we say Sat, understand that it's also Chit, understand that it's also Ananda. It's all three in one. Okay, so today we will stop here, and then next week we will go in depth into the second Kandaha, the second chapter. So from today, now what is the important thing to take from today? One is that if we do not know ourselves, then life is completely fruitless. It is purposeless. So we can know all the knowledge, get all the degrees, get all of these things, many, many feathers in our cap. But if we don't know who we are, we're never going to be fulfilled. The second point is that there's actually only one substance, one substratum in this whole world. Everything else is just an appearance in it. Just like clay, gold, iron. Clay is the reality. Everything else, pot, pitcher, etc., they're just appearances in that clay. Gold is the reality. Bracelet, bangle is an appearance in that gold. Iron is the reality. All of the different styles of iron are an appearance on that. Brahman is the reality. This whole world is just names and forms appearing in that Brahman. Means Brahman alone is. If we take away, if we extract Brahman, the whole world collapses, absolutely collapses. Therefore, the whole world is Brahman. We take away, we extract existence from ourselves, we will all collapse. Body, mind, intellect, everything will collapse. So then the essence is existence. Without it, nothing can be. Okay, we'll say the closing prayer, and then whoever has questions or any comments, you can stay back and we can discuss, and then we will do a short meditation. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.